Why do they always come back after they've left you? Why does the same woman who once said she needed space suddenly remember how much she misses you? Let's get real. This is the game most men never see coming. And if you don't know how to respond when she returns, you'll fall right back into the same trap that pushed her away in the first place. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're going to break down exactly what to do when, not if, a woman comes back after leaving you. Because trust me, many of them do. But the real question is, will you be the same man she left, or the man she can't figure out anymore? See, when a woman walks away from a man, something shifts. Not just in her, but in you too. Whether it ended in drama, silence, or confusion, her coming back isn't always about love. Sometimes it's about curiosity. Sometimes it's about ego. And sometimes it's just a test to see if you've changed. Or if you're still the same emotional doormat she once knew. Too many men make the mistake of rolling out the red carpet for a woman who left them. They confuse her return with genuine effort when it might just be boredom or guilt. So this video isn't just about welcoming her back. It's about teaching you how to handle her return with power, not desperation. Because if you don't set the tone, she will. And if she controls the tone, you're already playing catch-up. Let's get into the real game behind her return, and exactly how to respond like a man who finally knows his worth. 1. Don't trust her return. Just because she came back doesn't mean you should welcome her with open arms. That might sound harsh, but it's the truth most men don't want to hear. When a woman walks away from you, that decision comes from something deep, something she believed was missing. And when she returns, it's rarely for the reasons you hope. It's not always about love. Sometimes it's about comfort. Sometimes it's about control. And sometimes it's just to see if she still has access to you. You've got to understand that her return doesn't automatically make her genuine. In fact, her timing alone should make you question everything. Why now? Why not when you were hurting? Why not when you were reaching out and she left you on red? Most men overlook this. They get caught up in the fantasy of reconciliation. They want to believe she's come back because she finally realized their worth. But in reality, it might be because the grass wasn't greener on the other side, or her other options failed, or she just wants to know she can still get your attention. This is the moment where most guys fall back into the trap. They get emotional. They respond too quickly. They start reminiscing. And before they know it, they're right back in the same position, being the man she left once and might leave again. Let's say a woman left you 6 months ago. She said she needed space, stopped answering your calls, and went silent. Now, out of nowhere, she sends you a message like nothing ever happened. Maybe it's something casual like, "Hey, I was thinking about you." That kind of message isn't romantic, it's strategic. She's checking your temperature. She wants to see if you still care. She wants to know if the door is still open. A man who knows his value doesn't rush to reply. He doesn't start fantasizing. He stays calm. He watches her actions. He lets time reveal her intentions. Because the truth is, a woman coming back doesn't mean she's changed, it just means she's curious. And if you hand her your trust too fast, you'll learn the hard way that curiosity doesn't equal commitment. You owe it to yourself not to forget how she left, not to forget what you felt, and not to forget that silence, that distance, that disrespect. Her return should never be your validation. It should be your warning. 2. Control the first conversation. If she comes back after leaving you, the first thing you need to understand is this. You set the tone now. The first conversation will tell her everything she needs to know about who you are now. If you act like the same man she walked away from, too eager, too emotional, too available, she'll feel it instantly. And just like that, she'll realize she still has the upper hand. The first conversation isn't just small talk. It's not about catching up or pretending nothing happened. It's a power shift. You're no longer chasing clarity or closure. You're no longer explaining yourself or trying to fix things. You're calm, composed, and completely in control of your words. That silence you went through, that time you spent rebuilding yourself, this is when it shows. Too many men lose control right here. They feel relief when she reaches out. They think this is their chance to make things right again, so they overshare, over-explain, and over-invest. They bring up the past, talk about their feelings, ask questions they shouldn't be asking, and worst of all, they let her lead the conversation. But here's the truth. When she left, she gave up the right to your emotions. She gave up the right to demand anything from you. And if you don't make that clear with your tone, your timing, and your presence in that first conversation, she'll walk all over you again. Only this time, faster. You need to speak less. Say only what's necessary. Show that you're not pressed, you're not confused, and you're not desperate. Every word out of your mouth should reflect growth, not wounds. Don't try to prove that you're different. Let your calm energy say it for you. When you control the first conversation, you're doing more than talking. You're sending a message. I'm not who I used to be. You don't just get to walk back into my life like nothing happened. You're not being cold or rude. You're being firm. And that firmness is something most men never show because they're too busy trying to rekindle a fantasy. She might try to steer the talk toward emotion, apologies, or nostalgia. Let her. But don't get pulled into it. Stay focused. Stay still. The minute you start following her lead again, you lose all the power you gained in her absence. This conversation isn't for her. It's for you. It's your way of showing that you've changed, not by saying it, but by how you carry yourself. If she senses that she still controls your emotions, she'll lose respect. But if she feels that calm distance in your voice, if she realizes you're no longer operating from emotion, she'll feel something else, uncertainty. And in that uncertainty, she'll realize the man she left might not be waiting anymore. 3. No instant access to you. When she comes back after leaving, the biggest mistake you can make is giving her instant access to your time, your energy, and your emotions. It feels good in the moment, doesn't it? She messages you, she calls you, and suddenly you feel seen again. But you have to understand this. Access is power. The more freely you give it, the less value you hold in her eyes. Most men don't realize how quickly they throw themselves back into the same space she walked away from. She texts once, and he replies in seconds. She says, "I miss you," and he's already making plans. It's like nothing ever happened. But something did happen. She left. She created distance. She removed herself from your life. And you have to respect that reality more than you respect your feelings in the moment. She might act sweet. She might act like she regrets everything. But your response in this stage isn't about revenge or playing games. It's about showing discipline. If she can come back and pick up exactly where she left off, it tells her you were just waiting around. And waiting men never get respected. You have to resist the urge to make yourself immediately available. Not just physically, but emotionally. Don't start venting. Don't go deep. Don't throw open the doors to your mind like she never walked out. That energy makes it too easy for her. She needs to feel that something has changed. Not just in the way you act, but in what she now has to earn. Think about it. If she didn't have to fight for a place in your life again, what message does that send? That leaving you came with no consequences. That she can vanish, return, and still be treated like nothing changed. That's not strength. That's comfort. And the last thing you want to be is a comfort zone for someone who already proved they could live without you. She should feel the difference in your vibe. Slower replies, less enthusiasm, less emotional availability. Not because you're bitter, but because you respect yourself now. You've built a life that doesn't stop when she leaves and doesn't reset when she comes back. Women take mental notes. And if she notes that nothing about your energy changed, you're giving her confirmation that you are stuck the whole time. But if she feels like she's talking to a version of you that's harder to reach, harder to read, and harder to access emotionally, she'll start to wonder if she really knows you anymore. And that right there, that's the position of power most men never get to, because they gave it up too quickly. 4. Test her intentions, silently. Here's what most men never learn. You don't have to ask her why she's back. She'll show you. If you know how to stay quiet and observant, her behavior will reveal everything you need to know. But if you go into this hoping for explanations, long talks, and emotional clarity, you're already putting her in control again. And if you need her to tell you she's serious, you're already on shaky ground. You test a woman's intentions by not reacting emotionally, by staying calm, grounded, and slightly detached. You don't need to confront her. You don't need to bring up the past or demand answers. The truth is, women often come back before they've even decided what they want. They might not be sure why they're reaching out, but if they sense that you're still available emotionally, they'll figure it out on your time. That's why silence is your best weapon. Not the kind where you ignore her completely, but the kind where you don't reveal too much. You keep your plans vague. You keep your emotions neutral. You don't initiate deep conversations or try to rush back into anything. That controlled distance makes her work. And through that work, her real intentions start to show. Is she consistent with her energy? Does she show respect through her tone, her effort, her presence? Or is she just throwing breadcrumbs your way to see if you'll bite? You won't know if you're too busy feeding her attention, asking questions, or diving back in emotionally. Most guys mess this up because they're too eager to resolve things. They want closure, or they want to rebuild. But rebuilding doesn't happen with words. It happens through actions. And if you stop talking so much, you'll see more than you ever would through conversation. You have to treat her return like a probation period, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. You're not being cold. You're being wise. You're not playing games. you're staying alert. Because the last thing you want is to fall back into something that's just going to collapse again in a few weeks. Testing her silently means you're in control of your energy. You don't overgive, you don't overexplain, you just observe. You watch what she does when you don't do much at all. And that right there is where most men fail, because silence feels unnatural to them. But once you master that silence, once you stop filling the space with emotion and talk, you'll start to see things exactly as they are. Let her actions speak. Let her consistency, or lack of it, tell the story. And let your silence be the filter that separates truth from temporary emotion. 5. Keep your options open. When she comes back, the biggest mistake you can make is closing the door on every other opportunity in your life, especially when she hasn't proven anything yet. Just because she reached out doesn't mean she deserves exclusivity. Just because she seems interested again doesn't mean she's committed. If she left once, you have every right to protect yourself this time. That means keeping your options open. Too many men go right back into tunnel vision mode. The moment she shows interest again, they shut down emotionally to anyone else, cancel plans, stop talking to other women, and immediately place her back in the number one spot. But the truth is, she hasn't earned that spot. Not yet. And treating her like she has? That's what puts her right back in control. You don't owe her exclusivity just because she came back. In fact, the smartest thing you can do is move with freedom. Not to be disrespectful, not to play games, but to send a message. Your life didn't stop when she left, and it won't pause just because she wants back in. There's something powerful about a man who doesn't put a woman on a pedestal. A man who can stay connected to his options, his time, his goals, and still remain calm and focused when someone returns. That energy makes her take you more seriously than any speech or romantic gesture ever will. Let's say she reaches out and wants to see you. You agree to meet up, but it's not the same vibe she remembers. You're polite, calm, and present, but you're not overly invested. She notices you're not asking the same questions. You're not as available during the week. You're not texting the way you used to. She starts wondering what's changed. She starts asking herself who else has your attention now. That's the shift. Now, instead of her being the one deciding whether to give you attention, she's fighting for yours. And that happens only when you keep your options open. That's how you create value. Not through words, but by being a man who never let go of himself in the first place. If she wants to be in your life again, she needs to feel that it's not automatic. It's not guaranteed. And if you keep living with that sense of independence, even while she's coming back into the picture, you'll never lose your power again. Options don't mean disrespect. They mean strength. And the man who has options doesn't chase. He chooses. 6. Make her re-earn you. When a woman comes back after leaving, it's easy to get caught up in the idea that this is a fresh start or a chance to pick up where you left off. But if you want to do this the right way, the only way that protects you, you need to make her re-earn you. That might sound harsh, but think about it. She left once. Whether it was for reasons that made sense or not, the reality is, she didn't value you enough to stay when things got tough. And that's not something you just forget. You don't just wipe the slate clean because she shows up again. That's not strength. That's desperation. To re-earn you means she has to prove that she values your time, your energy, and your commitment just as much as you do. She has to show that this time, she's not only back because of convenience, but because she sees your worth. And guess what? You can't be the one who makes that easy. Too many men allow themselves to fall right back into the same cycle because they're afraid of losing her again. They think that if they don't act fast, she'll slip away. But in reality, the second you make her re-earn you, you give her the space to show that she's truly serious. It's the only way to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Making her re-earn you isn't about playing games. It's about self-respect. It's about recognizing your own value and never letting anyone walk away from you and then just waltz right back in without putting in the work to prove they deserve you. It's easy to get swept up in the idea of rekindling something familiar, especially if you had a strong connection at one point. But in doing that, you risk giving her an easy pass to walk back in without ever addressing why things went wrong in the first place. She doesn't need to prove herself to you with big gestures, but with consistent, genuine actions. It's the small things, her effort to really understand how you've grown, her willingness to make changes, and her respect for the boundaries you set. She should feel like she's earning your trust and attention again, not simply assuming it's hers because she showed up. You can't give her everything right away. You can't pour all your energy into her because she came back. Let her show you she's here for the right reasons. That means taking your time, holding back from overindulging in her presence, not rushing into anything physical or emotional. And above all, remember this. If she's serious about having a future with you, she'll gladly put in the effort to prove it. She'll understand why it's important to show you that things are different now. She'll respect the process, not rush it. And if she doesn't, then she hasn't earned you, and you're better off keeping your distance. 7. Never go back to the old. Here's the hard truth that many men fail to realize. If you go back to being the person you were before, you'll end up in the same situation you were in before. Too many men make the mistake of thinking that when a woman returns, they can pick up where they left off, acting the same way they did when things went wrong the first time. And that's the quickest way to make sure things fail again. You've changed, right? I hope you have. If you've put in the work on yourself, built your strength, regained your confidence, and learned from the past, then the version of you she's coming back to should be a new man. And that's the key. You cannot go back to the old you, the guy who was desperate for her approval, the guy who ignored his own needs to keep her happy, the guy who let her walk all over him, then begged her to come back. If you slip back into old habits, you're telling her you didn't learn anything. You're telling her you're still the same man she walked away from, and that's not attractive. She left because she didn't see your value. If you go back to that version, you'll just reinforce her reasons for leaving. I get it. She's back. The past is calling. You might think this is your chance to finally make it work. But going back to the old you means returning to all the things that didn't work before. Stop treating her like she holds all the cards. If you want a real chance at making this work, you need to stand your ground. She's not the same person she was when she left, and neither are you. Here's the issue. Too many men get scared and abandon their growth. They think if they play it cool, keep their distance too much, they'll push her away. So they revert to being overly available, constantly reassuring her, or chasing her approval. That's when you lose all the power you've gained. You're acting out of fear, not strength. You've rebuilt yourself, right? Stopped caring what she thinks. Stopped needing her validation. If you go back to the way things were, you lose all that. She's not the center of your world anymore. Your growth, future, and purpose are. So when she comes back, don't revert to the man who dropped everything for her. Keep growing. Keep improving. Never settle for being anything less than the man who's earned his place in this world. Here's the reality. If she walked away once, she'll likely walk away again if you don't change. Guilt. It's about a harsh truth that most men ignore. You can't expect things to work out just because she's back. You can't fall into the trap of thinking you're the one who needs to make it right. She left, and the only thing you can control now is your own growth. So if you go back to the old you, that's on you. It's time to wake up, fellas. Stop holding on to the past and begging for a second chance that's not guaranteed. Don't ever let someone else's actions dictate your worth. She might come back for all the wrong reasons, but your job is to make sure that if she wants to stay, she has to prove it. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had someone come back into your life after they left? Did you make the same mistakes? What's the one thing you've learned about yourself in the process? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments. I read every comment, and I'll reach out personally to connect with you. This is about creating a community where we learn from each other and grow together. Your experience matters, and I want to help you on your journey. Thanks for watching, and remember, never go back to the old you. Stay strong.